Hi Niamh, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very, very good, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I
Good.
doing my research. I know that you're an extremely busy girl, so thank you very much. So, firstly, I want to ask, tell us how you're doing in this pandemic. We've all had to change in this period. Are you and your family staying safe? And have you had to change anything? Had to cancel anything in this period?
Yeah. Well, I'm still in school, so that's kind of been pretty hectic. When we had a lockdown, we had to do like online schooling and my parents were working from home, my mom's still working from home. And that was just crazy. Like it felt like it was out of a movie, honestly. Like it
Yes.
was just the strangest thing. And it was really challenging because, I obviously missed all my friends and everything. And I don't think anybody got any schoolwork done during that time, honestly. Like, you just log on to the online class and then like there'd just be like people just because we didn't have to use the actual camera, so people would just log on and then they just leave their laptop on and then just go do something
Right.
else. So
Right.
no one got anything done.
Yes.
Um, but I think that, and obviously with the music side of stuff, the gigs and everything, all my gigs, and I had a couple weddings planned for this year
Right.
that I was singing at, and everything got cancelled, and that was probably one of the saddest things about it for me, um, because performing's what I love doing and it's what I do.
Yes.
Um, but I think one of the positive things was like I got to kind of craft my songwriting, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was probably the most I kind of got out of it, because there was all this free time that I'd never
Yes.
had before.
Yes.
So I guess that was probably one of the best things. But it's been horrible, and I still now it just feels like it's some crazy horror movie.
Right.
It's
It's
crazy.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And even at the start, like how did it feel to you? Like you're in the Central Coast, so you're pretty close to where I am at Newcastle. So
Mm.
um, how did the Central Coast sort of management? Because when I first come back to Newcastle, it was like, oh, it's just a flu. It'll go away next week. Everything will
Yeah.
be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Is that the same attitude in the Central Coast as well?
I mean, I think so. I mean, you know, there wasn't ever really like a time when everyone was wearing masks and like everyone was doing social distancing. And I definitely think that everybody's a lot more relaxed than other places in the world. Especially
Yes.
having connections in the UK, because I'm from there and all my family's from there. Hearing about it there and how many deaths and people with the actual disease, it's just horrendous. But so I think we were more cautious, like my family. So it's a bit different when there's a lot of people just being relaxed about it. Even though we're very lucky to be kind of safer, like in a safer part of the world with it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's been that crazy other than the actual lockdown period.
Hmm.
That was probably the most
Yeah.
crazy part about it, and when
Because
everybody was being really serious. But
no one has ever been used to it. We never had a
yeah,
lockdown before, have we?
yeah, I know, I
I mean,
know.
I can remember once or twice having like no electricity,
Yeah,
after a big thunderstorm, and
mm,
that's kind of okay. You can't watch TV,
yeah,
you get the candles out, but other than that, this is a whole totally different thing. But turn a negative into a positive. I saw that you recently have posted on that you're on Triple M in the Central Coast.
yeah. So,
Very recent. So how does that all come about?
yeah.
It's not something every day that
Well,
you get a chance to
yeah. Well, I think that. a lot of the radio stations that are kind of local to me are really supportive of, live music and young musicians and, emerging artists. And, I just did a little, like 3 of my original songs for a little live set, just for this. I think it was like like an outdoor kind of exposition or something for like businesses, but part of that was Triple M. So they did a few other of like my friends actually, artists that did that as well, and it was all originals, and it was really cool. Like, yeah, it was really cool to just be in a really professional kind of setting that I guess I'm not really used to, especially because of COVID. Like, there's not been many opportunities, but now they're kind of opening up again, which is good. And
Yes.
yeah, it was really
Now,
cool opportunity.
Did that go live? Did that go live on Triple M?
Yeah,
That
so
performance?
it was actually pre-recorded, but it was
Right.
technically like live. Like, they put all them together and made it seem like it was live. But
Yes.
yeah, the actual performance for me was live. Like, I just did the 3 songs, and yeah, so yeah,
That's
it
really,
was
really
really
cool.
cool.
And
It was,
did they approach you, or did you approach them? How did it all come about?
yeah. Yeah, I think I heard about it from my dad. My dad's amazing. Like, he helps me out so much.
Yes.
But I kind of submitted. I didn't really submit anything, but I kind of just was like, oh, like, this is kind of like my website or whatever. And then, because they were looking for, bands or artists or, young
Absolutely.
musicians on the coast. And yeah, they were really interested in me doing it. So that's what happened.
It's great to see the Triple M, especially. They're one of the sort of radio stations in previously that are like, you're always going to hear AC/DC. You're always going to hear Bon Jovi, but I'm glad that they've showed this initiative to, get the local bands, get the local artists, and give them an opportunity to be played on the radio. It's great. I really, really like it. I was
Yeah.
asking how you did that because I've also noticed recently, and a very, very big congratulations, but you've been signed to a new publishing artist, Original Music Publishing, I do believe.
Yeah, Origin. Yeah. That was really
Yes.
exciting. Yeah, that was like last month, I think I signed it. It's
Congratulations. That's an amazing
thank,
achievement.
thank you so much. They're amazing. That kind of came about from, uh, from another link, kind of thing, on the Central Coast. I think it's pronounced Budi Foundation.
Yeah.
I got a grant from them, and with that came mentoring from Philip Mortlock, which is the guy that runs Origin. And from there, he kind of gave me some really cool opportunities. Like, I got to work in Forbes Street Studios in Sydney, which was really cool.
Come on. That's great.
And
So tell
yeah,
us
it was
about
really
that experience. Tell us about that. Like, how many days did you spend there, and tell us what the experience was like.
Yeah, so I got to spend 2 8-hour days, so it was like a pretty long day, with Mario Spate, a really cool producer. And it was such a cool experience because I've been in studios before, but usually I go in with a like already made song,
Yes.
and then we go in and produce it and everything. So but this experience was different because it was like we were writing a little bit, and then we'd go and record the vocals, and then come back and then produce a little bit, and then put the guitar on. And it was, even though I'm not a producer myself, I got to sit there and like go, oh, we could do this, we could do that, so it was really cool to kind of put those two things together, because usually that's not really how I've written a song before. So
Yes.
it was really cool. And the 2 songs we wrote were very different as well, like 2 completely different things. So I think it was a really cool experience to just be able to do that. Yeah.
Right. And was this had you been into the recording studios before, like just like local ones as well? This was like your first sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I've been in local ones before. Like, you know, I know some people here, and I've been really lucky to be recorded and stuff like that. But I think that this experience was probably one of the biggest studios I've been in. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And I'm pretty sure, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure the week after I was in, Elton John was in
Oh wow!
recording. I'm pretty sure that he was in the week after recording for like a song on Lady Gaga's album,
Wow.
which was really cool. So
That's
yeah, it was really, really cool.
some high praises.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really,
Yeah.
really cool. So and tell us, so have these two singles have they been released that you
Yeah,
recorded?
so one of them has my
Yes.
most recent release called Sugar
Sugar.
was
Right.
the second song we wrote, but the other one hasn't been released yet. So yeah, Sugar's been released recently.
So you've had four singles released so far altogether, right?
Yes.
Yep. So the
Yes.
second one that you record will come out post pandemic, or is it yet to be?
I think so. I mean, you know, it's almost done. It's just got a little bit of tweaking to go. It's something that I definitely want to release, because it's just I'm really proud of it. It's definitely different. And it's the complete opposite to Sugar. Sugar's very relaxed, and very happy and everything. And you know, the other song's very dark,
Yes.
and very, you know, I guess electronic, and you know, I wouldn't say rock, but yeah, very dark, very dark. So it would be interesting if I did release that one, like after Sugar, like the next one I released, because it would be a complete juxtaposition to what I just released. So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, right.
So
And speaking of that, I'm always interested to find out about musicians and how they develop a sound and what they want to do with their sound as well. I mean, you know, you're a pop sort of indie artist if you want to sort of pigeonhole your sort of sound, but you have electronics, you play the guitar, you have some rock elements in it. So is that something like in the future that you want to sort of pursue, like going all different, this is my music, or do you want to go and just go, hey, I'm just a pop singer, I'm just going to do it, you know, this is how I want to do it? How do you think?
you know, I think that, yeah, I think I'm a big believer in that. You know, you have to have your sound, like there has to be something about it that is you, but at the same time, I think that it's kind of, if you don't change with and kind of adapt to the world, I guess,
Yeah.
and your own personality, then you're not really a musician, I guess. Like
That's right.
you're not really being you, because I guess everybody changes. So I think that obviously my sound now isn't gonna be my sound tomorrow, maybe, like, or like
That's
in a
right.
year or whatever. So I definitely think still, you know, kind of I'm calling it alternate kind of pop, because it's not ever gonna really be the exact same, but I think I'm still trying to find that what it is that is me, you know, in songs. Because I think as an example of that, Billie Eilish, I think she has
Yes.
a lot of different like styles of songs and genres in like, you know, her music, but at the same time you always know it's her, you know, and you know, it's just that kind of the way she writes or her voice or you know, her kind of stylistic things that she does, it's always cohesive with her other pieces of work. So I think that that's something that I want to, that's a goal of mine, to always be, I guess, myself in my music.
So let's go back. Let's go back for people, some people that might not know you, some international listeners. So I do believe that you were not born in Australia.
No, I wasn't.
You were born in Scotland. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was. I was born in Cleland, a little town about maybe half an hour away from Glasgow, I think.
Right.
I'm very bad at geography, but yeah, that's where I was born. And you know, a lot of my family live there. Basically, all my family. My mum and my dad are Scottish as well. So yeah, I was born there. I came over to Australia because my dad just got an offer for his work. And yeah, I was over here when I was 6 years old. So, you know, I still remember a lot of stuff. And, you know, we went over for visits and stuff for Christmas and whatever. But, you know, I'm definitely more familiar with Australia now, and I wouldn't want to go back. I love the food over there. Like, I miss that so much. It's very unhealthy, but it's probably yeah, I miss that a lot. But you know, I think the lifestyle here is definitely like amazing. And you know, I've thought about it before, and there's so many opportunities for musicians here that I don't know if I even would be down the same path over there. Obviously, you know, I don't even know if I would be a musician, which is crazy. You know, I think I would still obviously love music. I don't think that would ever change, but I don't know, like, who knows? Because I guess there's definitely opportunities over there. But I think that I'm really lucky to have a really cool music community where I live. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a good area too, the Central Coast. You're in between Newcastle and Sydney, both sort of big music, well, not big, but you know, there's lots of opportunities there to play gigs, do recordings. So it's good to sort of get your local gigs in the Central Coast and then sort of branch out a little bit. So that's good to hear. So when did you come to Australia when you were 6 years old? So was it a bit of a, you know, difficult at that stage for you to like come to a different school, meet all new friends? And were your parents musical as well? Were they in the music industry?
Yeah, so as for how difficult it was to come over here, you know, I actually I had like night terrors like as a kid when I first came over here. I don't know what that was about. Must have been like horrified that I'd moved across the world. But other than that, I think I pretty much settled in. Like, you know, I've picked up the Aussie accent. I've still got a bit of a Scottish accent with my fam, but because I can kind of switch it without knowing. But you know, when I'm on the phone and stuff, my friends will be like, "Oh my God, she's doing it again." But I think as for if my parents are musical, they're not. My mum's an accountant, and my dad is like, he works for a big industrial company, so he's like the manager of like something. I'm not too sure of his title. But I think what got me into music was my dad's crazy music taste. Because you know, he's a music lover. He's just not really a musician. So you know, I didn't get my singing talents from him, I'll tell you that. But but you know, I think that I definitely got my music taste from him, and I definitely I'm really appreciative of all different types of music. You know, when people ask me what my favorite type of music is, I don't really have one, because I have all these different playlists of different genres and moods and everything. So I think it's really important though to be to enjoy lots of different types of music as an artist, because I think, yeah, if you don't appreciate others' work, it's kind of difficult to appreciate your own, I guess.
Absolutely. So
So
tell us,
yeah.
Niamh, what sort of music was your dad listening to?
Yeah, well, he's a Talking Heads absolute nerd. He loves David Byrne. David Byrne is his absolute hero. So, you know, I love David Byrne as well. I think he's great. I think even as just a career-wise, I think he's just absolute goals. Like the way he has, you know, as we were talking about before, how I think it's important to kind of adapt to the world and change and reshape yourself. He absolutely is a perfect example of that, you know.
Yes.
And you know, he just went from like the Talking Heads kind of rock band to you know, he did an orchestra album for I'm not sure what. I think it might have been a movie or something, but you know, he's done all these crazy things. I think he designed a bike rack or something,
Yeah,
and like he's done musicals and whatever. But you know, I think, yeah, he's really cool, and I love his music. So probably, yeah, him. And I don't know, my dad definitely, he loves really anything to do with David Byrne. So like anybody that David Byrne has worked with, he knows his whole life story.
Right.
He could be a David Byrne history teacher or something. I don't know. But you know, I don't know. You know, St. Vincent, Kimbra, you know, those kinds of people that they're actually linked to David Byrne, funnily enough. You know, I don't know, Radiohead, Mochiba, those kinds of people, I kind of just grew up with. And, you know, there's so many others, but I think that really helped me to shape not only like what I like listening to, but how I write and like how I want to sound and little elements of what I want to create, you know.
So tell us, what come first? Was it playing guitar or singing?
Singing. I was
Tell us
singing
about that.
since I was born. And but you know, I was pretty shy. I was really, really shy. So I think my mum heard me singing in the shower when I was maybe, I don't know when I started singing lessons. I think it was maybe year 5 or year 4 in primary school. And I was so scared to go to singing lessons. I
Right.
was terrified. But I
Now
went.
sorry, Niamh, with your singing, did it take a long time for it to develop, or were you sort of a natural at it?
You know, I think that listening to old videos of myself,
Yeah.
obviously I've definitely improved a little. But I think that there was something that I had, I think, that I can still hear in my voice now. And I think that, you know, I feel like with anything, you kind of have to have a little bit of something, and then you can kind of nurture that. So, you know, everybody can physically sing, or everybody can, you know, do whatever it is.
Try to sing.
Yeah. But I think I don't know. I think you just kind of have to have a little bit of something
Yes,
to be able to nurture that in the right way, and
absolutely.
get it into something. Um, but you know, and then you know, guitar came after that. My singing teacher played guitar, so I just learned from her. And after that, I've just kind of been trying to get better and kind of
Now,
nurture my singing and
now I
whatever.
wanted to ask, like, everybody has a music teacher in high school, and especially in Australia. Did they influence you with your playing and your guitar and your sort of singing, or are they just sort of like a part of? Did they help? Well, I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Well, my music teacher right now, yeah, he's amazing. He's really, really good. But I think, and obviously I'm learning from him, hopefully, because that's what he's supposed to do. But I think I mean I still go to guitar lessons from a different person now. But I think that my music teacher kind of helped with the theory kind of stuff, side of stuff, because I the way I learned music was just to hear it and just go, oh, that's that, and I still do that, but I'm trying to get better at learning the actual theory behind it, because I've realized how much that does really, really help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is tedious.
Yeah.
And it is a bit difficult to wrap your head around, like it's kind of like a different language sometimes. Even reading music, that's a bit of it's like you're reading Chinese. I think I'm definitely a rhythmic guitarist, but I'd love to be able to do some solos in the future, and do little riffs and stuff and whatever.
Now,
So
when you do play live before the pandemic, did you actually have a band with you, or are you just going out there and just doing your? Because listening to your songs, there's all techno, there's guitars, there's all different instruments in the background. So how do you play this when you're playing live?
Yeah. So usually it's just me and a guitar. Like it's just the way it was really written. And that's kind of how it has been for a while now, just me doing my gigs and whatever. But from school actually, there's some really cool musicians in my year that I've been fortunate enough to play with. And I love playing in a band situation. It's really, really cool. I think mainly because it's so different from just me and my guitar. And it definitely adds dynamics and whatever, and it's definitely more entertaining. But yeah, usually it's just me and maybe like a little stomp pedal, or I've been trying to practice my loop pedal and stuff. But yeah, it's I guess it's definitely different from the way my songs that are released are produced.
Right.
But I think that hopefully in the future, when I like get to tour and stuff like that, I'll get to have that, fuller sound and have that backing and
Like a
stuff,
keyboardist and a drummer and a
Yeah. Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And have you done any sort of extensive touring, or has it just been sort of local stuff for the time being?
Yeah, I haven't ever done like a big tour. I've done like I've supported people and stuff, and I've done gigs kind of not just on the Central Coast, but like in Sydney and Newcastle and stuff like that. But I definitely think that's something that I want to do in the future. Maybe that means that I have to maybe make an EP or an album or something to kind of support that. But that's definitely something that I want to do in the future, hopefully when this pandemic goes away.
Now
Yeah.
I do see that you've also played with a guest that I had on a couple of months ago, Amy V.
Yes, that was like my most recent like pretty big gig. That was, a definite change from just sitting there talking to a camera, or singing to a camera. that was
Now
really fun.
now you know that you're making progress when you're supporting or you're playing a same gig with Amy V. Amy V's been around for a long time, and she
Yeah.
gets played on the radio. I remember when I was playing music in Newcastle as well. Everywhere we had totally different sounds. We were like a hard rock band, and wherever we played, it was like Amy V, Amy V, Amy V.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, she's
Yeah,
definitely
she's really, really cool. She's really, really cool. And it was so cool to be able to play as a support for her, and just watching her play with her band and everything. It was just incredible. She's insane. She's insane.
yeah,
She's really good.
absolutely. Now tell us, like, how did it all come about? Like you were saying before that you're a bit nervous. How did you come about playing your first actual gig? How did it all come about? So you would have had to be confident playing guitar. You're
Yeah.
singing as well. You would have had to written some songs. How did it all come about? Were you playing covers? What covers were you playing? Tell us about it.
Well, the first memory of like a proper kind of performance I can remember was my school talent show in year
Right.
6. I don't think I'd ever played in front of anyone besides my parents. I even used to turn around, like if my parents were like, "Oh, sing us the new song that you were practicing," I'd literally go, "Okay, but you can't look at me, or I have to turn around." And I would have to literally face the other way and sing to them with my back to them. Like, it was ridiculous. It was like a Sia moment, you know?
Right.
So I thought I was Sia. But I guess, yeah, that was probably the school talent show thing was probably the biggest thing I'd ever done in my life at the time. And, you know, and I was really like rigid with my guitar. Like, I was really, really bad.
Yes.
Like, I'd only just been starting out. But you know, I won it. I won the talent show, and I was like,
Wow.
wow,
Let's
like,
go.
you know, that was probably the biggest thing for me that really started my mindset of like, oh, I'm actually like okay at this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not that bad. So
Yeah.
I kind of, yeah, from there I had like little singing concerts at my singing lessons, and where all the kids that would sing there would go and whatever, and I would get so nervous. I'd be shaking and be like, oh. And you know, watching the videos of me back then, I was just standing there like really awkwardly, like holding the mic like, oh. So yeah, there's been a big change. But for first gigs, I kind of just started busking. And you know, and then I got, I think it was called the Star and the Rise, which was for Star FM. And I was like, I think I was 13 at the time.
Yes.
And so I did that, and from there, I think it was Fair Play. There's a company called Fair Play Entertainment that I'm still with now that get me a lot of gigs. And that was kind of the first company that that I was with that got me gigs and whatever. So I was, yeah, ever since I was about 13, I've been doing cafes and restaurants and weddings and just little busk markets and whatever. So I think I'm really, you know, it was hard work, I guess, because you know, I'd be standing there for 3 hours, like just straight singing, and I still do that, but you know, as a 13-year-old, that's it was really cool because some of my friends hadn't even started getting money yet, or
Right.
you know, some of my friends now have jobs, but I could do an hour and get paid like triple what they get, or like, I don't know, like heaps more than what they get in an hour, doing what I love, you know, because I guess, I don't know, people take musicians seriously. I don't know. But yeah, so I think that was another confidence boost as well. Just getting out there and just practicing and just performing. You know, without doing that, I would still be standing on the stage like like really uncomfortable. So
Yes,
yeah, those little gigs, every gig that I did,
that's it.
really really helped.
Build the confidence up. Build the
Yeah.
confidence up. Let's talk about that after that first gig. You said that you got a lot of confidence, and you said that you actually won that competition, right?
Yeah. So, it was just the first ever thing that I did, was obviously for my school. And yeah, I won that. And obviously, as we were saying before, I got such a confidence boost.
Yes.
And you know, that kind of led me on to kind of more, I guess, official competitions.
Yes.
Um, and you know, I'd been in other ones, you know, as I was kind of starting to find myself as a performer. But actually recently, I think, yeah, last year on my birthday, actually, it was the final of a local competition called Discovered. And
Yes.
yeah, so I won that one last year. And I got a beautiful guitar and lots of lovely things.
Nice.
Um,
So tell us
but
about that. Was it like a elimination, or was it you did a performance and then they judged it, or how did it all
yeah,
work?
so I'd been in it a few times, actually. Like I think I was in it maybe 2 years. And I think the first year, and they have different heats and you know, different, like you have a semi-final and then a final and stuff. So you know, and the first and they have all these amazing prizes as well. So the first time I did the competition, I won a scholarship to Gina Jeffery's workshops.
Nice.
So I got to be a part of that, and I'm still a part of that. I do, like, you know, songwriting with her and
Yeah.
and stuff
So
like that.
it says here that you co-wrote a song with Gina Jeffries.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I write pretty much. I think it's every week. It's on Zoom right now. But you know, we go into the studio and I get to write with some really cool people. And you know, they bring in her and her husband Rod McCormack bring in you know, other artists that are making up albums and EPs and singles and stuff like that, and we get to write for them as well. So I think um, just from, you know, a connections kind of thing from
Mm.
that competition, I got the scholarship, and then I get to write with all these amazing artists and for all these different genres as well. And you know, everybody has their own little writing style.
So how
And
does it
from
all work in there? Like a bunch of musicians all get together to write a song?
Yeah,
How does that
yeah,
work? Because
it's
everybody would have different ideas. It must be.
yeah. Yeah, it's usually we usually split up into smaller groups just to figure out what we're going to write about, and usually it's for a particular person. Like if I was writing with someone, we'd be like, "Oh, who are we writing for?" But I think, yeah, it would be quite difficult if it was just a massive group of people and we were all just writing some crazy song. But yeah, I think that's what's cool about it, because you get to, um, it's very intimate, and you get to work with different people most weeks, just together, and get to learn things from them. So I think, yeah, just it's sometimes difficult to, you know, write songs with other people because it's a very personal thing. So when, you know, you put ideas out there, it's kind of like, oh, you're putting out your whole soul, really. So you kind of it's quite confronting, but I think those experiences, help me with other experiences, like how I was talking about in studios and other places that I work, and like with other people. And it's just about that connection and confidence, even just with your own ideas.
Now, has this helped you develop as a musician as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, just as I said before, learning from other people, you know, uh, learning from other people's experiences and what they actually write about. Like, personally, I really do enjoy sometimes writing about other people's experiences, and sometimes even making up a story and just writing about it and pretending it was me.
Now,
Because,
sorry. Do you write things about yourself, or do you have it like as a metaphor, or do you? And is that sometimes a little bit scary that you're
yeah,
pull your heart out? This is
yeah,
my experience. Is that something
yeah.
that you like doing, or?
Yeah, I love metaphors. I love writing with them. I think that if something happens in my life, there's always going to be a song out of it. It's kind of a therapeutic thing.
Yes.
That some people write in journals, some people do whatever. But and some people go to therapists or whatever. But my therapy is literally just writing about and singing about my experiences. And even sometimes some songs come out and the metaphors in it, to an outsider, it doesn't even really it does make sense, hopefully. But I guess it has its own meaning to other people, because I feel that the actual music in itself, not the lyrics, the music in itself kind of gives someone an emotion and gives them a feeling that no words can really give. So
Yes.
even when I have these metaphors and things that mean one thing and another, and can connect with people and make them remember something about their life or make them feel something or whatever it is, when it's all stripped back, that actual melodic thing, because I'm a very melodic person, I think I'm a melody kind of
Yes.
gal. When it's all stripped back, I think that there's something about just, it's, yeah, like you could write a poem or whatever it is, but it's that music behind it and the melody that gives it that meaning. It's, for me, that the lyrics are kind of just help you along the way to get that journey, but the music really is the journey.
I love that. I love that too. When somebody writes a song, and they might be singing about something about them, but you can also relate it back to yourself and go, you know what?
Yeah,
That's like me. That's cool. I like that.
yeah.
I relate to that. So yeah, keep doing that.
Mhm.
And so I want to talk about now, like the recordings that you've done. So we talked about before about the two new songs that you recorded in Forbes. So
Yeah,
what about the first ever recording that you did? Tell us about that
yeah,
experience.
yeah. So that one is called Dark Soul.
Mhm.
Um, and what happened with that one was, I think it was I've written it down so I don't remember, 2018. A boy called Nicola Karapik from Denmark contacted me through Instagram, and he was really interested in working with me. And I was like, oh, okay, like, just, I'd never
How
done anything like
how did
that.
he find you? Was it just word of mouth, or just like?
I don't know. I guess he just found me on Instagram. That's kind of the beauty of um,
Yes.
social media, because
Yeah.
it can connect people like in insane ways.
Yes.
But yeah, he just contacted me, and I was like, okay, like, I've never done anything like this before. So yeah, he's just sent me through some of his little tracks. And yeah, I just top lined it, and just, you know, it just happened. And for the second song I released, it was the same kind of thing. Get to You was a similar process, and it was just I have a better mic now, but it was literally just a little condenser microphone that I literally just recorded in my house. It was like the worst quality ever at the time, but I think that, you know, I'm so proud of it, because I think that without that experience, and without you know, learning and learning how to actually record myself properly now,
Yeah.
you know, without that experience, I wouldn't be able to do that now. Like I wouldn't have, you know, the knowledge of what is right and what's wrong and stuff. And I still think that song's like it has a good place in my heart, you know. And I think, as I was saying before earlier, you know, that's not my sound now, but it was, and that's, without that sound, I wouldn't be who I am today. So and I wouldn't sound the way I do now, like musically. So yeah.
Now going out and playing live gigs as well. What is the Central Coast music scene like? Is it very easy to go out there and find a gig?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I obviously, I'm with a couple companies, like I mentioned before, Fair Play Entertainment, and, you know, a little busking one called Coasties, and you know, through that you get more connections, and you meet new people, and they organize things and whatever. People contact you and everything. So I think that, you know, it's really just a really cool community. Even, you know, local cafes and you know, restaurants and businesses and markets, and just the local community really do support live music. And you know, the majority of people are really interested in music, and really like listening to live music, and supporting young artists. So I think that going into and getting gigs, and you know, contacting people, and them contacting you, and having little business cards and whatever, and like a little sign that says your name or whatever. I think just the more you do it, the more that the gigs come. So yeah, for me it was pretty simple and really easy. And I guess another thing was just to make sure that I was always my best every gig, you know, because you never know who's going to be there. And it's absolutely true. Like you know, as I was saying about connections and stuff, it's so true. Like every door that opens, two doors open, and then three doors open, whatever. So yeah, and I just think that, yeah, just being aware that you always have to be your best self, and never be like, oh, this is just a little gig and whatever, because, you know, at the end of the day, those little gigs are what, you know, helped me to become a better performer and learn how to actually do what I do. So yeah.
And speaking about that, do you prefer the live show, or do you prefer recording a new song? That's a tough question.
Oh, there's nothing that beats performing live. And you know, connecting with people, and actually getting something back from the audience. Like, especially in COVID, I guess, like, you're just looking at a camera. But I guess with the recording and stuff, I suppose I do that less often, so that's probably more exciting. Sometimes, and can be interesting, and you know, whereas performing, I do it a lot, and it doesn't make it any less interesting and stuff, I guess. But I don't know. I think they're both really stuff I love to do in different ways. So I
It's like
can't really answer that.
it's like a cycle, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you bring out a new album or a new recording, and then you go out and you promote it by playing gigs, and then you play gigs and you play the same songs, and it's like, okay, I'm getting a little bit tired. It's time to
Yeah.
write some new music. Go back into
Yeah.
the studio. So it's a
Yeah.
whole, it's a whole sort of cycle. Speaking
It is.
about that, I'm always interested to ask about this, especially with the younger up and coming musicians, is about peer pressure at school. You know, you've got school, you want to write music, relationships, friends. How do you deal with that? Is that something that is it easy to deal with for you? Because I know that you can't please everyone with music. Someone's gonna come up and say, "Oh, you know what, you suck," or so, But
Yeah.
how do you deal with that? Are you pretty good with like,
Yeah.
that's like, you can't please.
Well, I guess I never used to be. It's not. I guess I've been pretty lucky. Like, there's never been anybody that's really come up to my face and said, "Oh, that was like horrible." I think that there's definitely, like, my mum would always say, "Oh, they're just jealous of you and stuff," you know.
Yes.
There's people in my year that I don't. They literally have told people that they hate me. So whether you're like that weird kid in school that writes songs, or you're just like a kid just trying to get through school, I feel like that's just what kids go through. But I think it is a bit difficult sometimes when you're that. I feel like the weird kid. Like, I'm not just. I don't have that normal path of, like, going to university, getting the degree, and getting the job. And my path is very different, and I'm kind of already trying to immerse myself in my career, which a lot of kids don't even know what they're going to do after school. So in a way, I'm really lucky. But in another way, I am that kind of strange kid, I would guess, that some kids would be like, "Oh, like, she's kind of weird," and like, "Oh, like," and I guess I used to be pretty shy as like a younger person, but as I've kind of grown into my own skin, I've realized that you don't really have to have like, you just have your people, your tribe, and whoever else, like, if they don't like you, as long as you're not harming them and they're not harming you, there's no issues. And that's kind of how I like to keep it. And even just like, I've kind of realized that now that I didn't really ditch people, but like, I kind of moved away from some like people that weren't really like the people that I wanted to spend time with. And I don't know if a lot of kids really understand that yet. Some people don't understand that, and some people are like bullies, and some people are, still trying to do that, but you don't really know what they're going through, I guess. So I don't judge people for that. But I think I've just kind of realized that in my heart, like, that I don't need to be around people that are not supportive of me and are not like people that I actually want to spend time with. Like, I don't want to waste my time with people that I don't want to talk to, honestly. Like,
Absolutely.
So yeah, and it all goes back to, like, even creativity. Like, if I'm not happy and I'm not wanting to spend time with people, I'm not going to even be creative. So why would I spend time with people that I don't want to spend time with?
Yeah, absolutely. Great answer.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to look at it. And you will go on for years and years to come to realize who are the positive people and who are the not so positive people. So great way to look at it. So tell us
Mm.
like about stage fright. Are you okay now when you're playing in front of like a large audience?
Mm. I yeah, like I mean, again, going back to COVID, I wish I didn't have to talk about COVID, but like I guess going back into the music, like actual performance side of things, I got nervous, like of course I get like the butterflies and like nerves and stuff, um but you know that's definitely kind of, I wouldn't say like disappeared, but I think I've learned how to harness those nerves and use them to my advantage, and kind of realize that actually I am like confident and I can do this and stuff like that. So, I mean, going back into performing after COVID, you know, I got those nerves again because I hadn't been doing it for so long. So, I think that practice and just normality, like the normality of just performing, is something that can deal with stage fright. And yeah, I don't really, I mean, as long as I'm organized for a gig, I think that as long as I've practiced as much as I could have, and prepared and stuff, you know, with anything really, but with performing, I always feel good about that, you know, and I'm not nervous really, when I know that I can do something and I know that I've practiced and that I'm ready, you know. But if I'm not ready, then that's when I kind of freak out. I'm like, oh.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's just
Preparation.
being prepared, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
just being prepared.
I think that
Yeah,
stems for everything. So
yeah.
with your selection of cover songs, I know that you've got five or six originals now recorded.
Yeah. So yeah, like
So
yeah.
so I wanted to ask, like, are your cover songs, are they songs that you actually like, or are they songs that someone has actually requested? Oh, why don't you play this song?
Mm.
Why do you choose the cover songs that you play?
Yeah. Well, it kind of started out when I first started out. I would just kind of learn kind of easy stuff that people always listen to, I guess, and that's kind of how you kind of should start out, really. If you're just busking and stuff, nobody's gonna really throw money in your in your guitar case unless they know the song, really. So I do have a lot of that in my repertoire. But I think nowadays, if I really enjoy a song, and it suits with my voice or whatever it is, or even if it doesn't, you know, I love to make my covers like my own version. Like that's always
Oh, yeah.
something that I really want to do. Like, I think that it's kind of boring if you just do the same thing. Um, like sometimes my dad will say to me, "Oh, that song, no, you can't do that. You can't. No, that's not a song that you can cover. Nobody covers that." And I do it just to annoy him, because I think, yeah, any song can be done,
Yes.
as long as you make it your own, really. Yeah, and that's what I try to do, and hopefully that's entertaining, when you're in a situation where you have to do covers, like at restaurants and stuff like that sometimes, or you know, wherever I'm gigging. Hopefully it's usually originals now, but you know, sometimes you got to chuck a cover in there, and uh, I try to, you know, flip that cover into my own version that will, you know, connect with people but still make them go, oh, she's like changed that, that's like cool, you know. That's what I hope that I can give people when they listen. Yeah.
And what sort of music are you listening to now? And are there any sort of new music that you're listening to that some people might not know?
Well, I mean, as I said before, I have a very wide music taste. I listen to a lot of different stuff. But I mean, I love new artists that I take inspiration from. I'm always trying to listen to artists that might have something about them that that I want in my sound, because I want to be listening always and finding new things, and hearing new things, so then I can be the best that I can be. So maybe I love B Miller. She's really cool. Some of her, I think her album Aurora, I think that's Aurora. I love that album. Who else? I love Lennon Stella. She's incredible. Well, Adele is like my queen. She's just incredible. I went to go see her not recently, but actually I got the pleasure of seeing her live, which is just incredible.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, I genuinely listen to like heaps of different stuff, like from rock to pop to sad stuff, and like hip hop and whatever. Like not really hip hop, but like a bit of like R&B and whatever. So I don't know. I literally listen to whatever.
That's good. That's a good way. It's a good way to be. A good way to have that variety.
Yeah.
All right, let's get close to wrapping up. Niamh. Sorry, it's an interesting name. It doesn't how it's spelled is not how it sounds. So I had to have some practice there.
Like my sister's name's Ailey, and it's spelled Eilidh.
Right.
Yeah. So my parents didn't make it easy for us, but
So tell us,
anyway.
what does the future hold? You have a bright future ahead of you. What does the future hold post-pandemic, when you can get out there and play gigs?
Yes. Well, I'm working on my kind of, I guess, not repertoire, but portfolio of like songs and recorded songs.
Now you said that. Sorry, Niamh. You said that you've been writing in between this period as well.
Yeah. So I've definitely been during this time. I've been writing as much as I can, because even though sometimes I don't feel like writing, because it's like, oh, what's even happening? Nothing's really happening. So, but
I want to write about the COVID.
Yeah, I know. But I've been trying to make the most of this situation, and hopefully after COVID, I want to be releasing more. I really, really, really want to make an EP or an album that is, like that I'm actually writing songs specifically for that album, and making a story, and because I love, like, I guess some people don't really want to listen to albums anymore, which is really sad. But
That's very sad.
Yeah, but I love really listening to from the start to the end, like all the way through, and then again, which is the way that the artist wants it to be played. So that's something that is a big goal of mine, and just live performances, and I just want to hustle and just get out there and become the artist that I want to become. And just,
can you tell us about promotion, and anything you want to, and your social medias as well? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I have a website called niamhwatson.com, and all my socials are Niamh Watson Music, at Niamh Watson Music. I'm on.
We need to spell that. I think we need to spell that, because they're just going to go NEEVE, and they're going to go, oh, what is that?
Yeah, it's a weird spelling. It's NIAMH, Watson. So I'm just Niamh Watson Music on all my socials, and if you go to my website, there's everything there. So
All right, excellent. All right, so now we get to the final part where I just ask some questions, and you just give me the first response, and it'll be your top 2 or 3 things. Are you ready,
Yeah.
Niamh?
I guess. I guess so.
All right. So we're talking about music. Then tell me, today, who are your top 3 artists?
That is the hardest question.
Today.
I'm gonna say Lennon Stella, as I said before. Yeah. I want to say Lady Gaga because she's just, yeah, really inspiring. Okay, I'm gonna say Lady Gaga for today. And St. Vincent. I'm gonna say her today. But that literally changes all the time and I have so many more. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna lock my answer in.
Okay. Now, what was the first album or music that you bought?
I was really obsessed with Kimbra's album.
And what was the last music that you bought?
The last one. Um Ariana Grande has a new song out and it's called Positions, I think. And yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, that was the last one I listened to.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, switching topics to movies. So, who are your top 3 actors?
I love Margot Robbie. She's really
Yes.
cool. Johnny Depp. He's really cool. And Mike Myers. I love him. He's so funny. I love him.
Me too.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Old Austin Powers.
Yes.
All right. Okay. And then tell me, what are your 3 top favorite movies?
Top favorite. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Shrek.
Oh, yeah.
I love Shrek. Literally all. Oh my God. I'm a Disney like freak. Okay. So Shrek. I love kids movies. I love Brave. That's a really good movie because it's like a Scottish movie, you know.
Right.
And I won't choose a kids movie this time. And there's so many. This is so difficult. It's a Christmas movie, but it's like a family tradition. We love Elf, that movie that's got Will Ferrell in it. It's so funny. I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
He's one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. And what was the first live concert you went to?
One Direction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I've been to ones before that, but my first ever one that I wanted to go to and I like put my pocket money into was One Direction. My sister oh yeah.
And what was the last concert that you went to?
Oh my goodness. I think it was either Shawn Mendes or we went to see the Hilltop Hoods. So either one of those. I can't remember which one came first, but yeah, those are my last ones.
Okay, awesome. Who is your number 1 inspiration? Hero / hero?
My sister.
Why?
My little sister. Because she's the bravest person that I'll ever meet. She had scoliosis, like really bad, when she was 10, and she had to get like major surgery. So, and she didn't even cry once. And I'm a drama queen, so absolute drama queen. Like I literally could chip a nail and be absolutely hysterical. So, yeah, she's my absolute, like, she's just incredible. She's so intelligent and like, yeah, she's like an older sister to me. She's 3 years younger than me, but yeah, she's my hero.
Great answer. So, I wish I would have asked that question earlier so we could talk a little bit more about that. But yeah. And is she okay now?
Yeah, no. It was I think it was about 3 years ago now, or 4 years
Yeah.
ago. But yeah, I wrote a song about it and stuff, obviously.
Oh, that's great. Which
But
one was it? Which
yeah,
one was it? Is it you one you recorded?
it's not been released. No, it's
Oh,
called it was called Going Under. I wrote it a while ago. So
wow.
yeah,
That's nice. That's great.
yeah,
All right, Niamh. Thank you very much for your time. You've got an amazing, bright future ahead of you. Make sure you come and play in Newcastle, so I can come and watch you play. And
yeah,
good luck. Good luck for the future.
yeah. Thank you so much. It's been
All right.
amazing.
Thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.